Boa tarde, estamos no ar com mais um Enzima Live Show, nosso programa bissemanal aqui no canal da Pluri, onde a gente fala sobre inovação, tecnologia, digital, sobre startups, esportes eletrônicos, enfim, todos esses assuntos que a gente tanto ama, sempre recebendo profissionais renomados, relevantes das indústrias do esporte e do entretenimento para trocar essa ideia conosco. Antes de eu apresentar o nosso convidado especialíssimo de hoje, só lembrar a vocês que essas nossas conversas viram podcasts e vocês podem ouvir nas principais plataformas de podcasts, como o Spotify, o Deezer e o Google Podcasts. Se por um acaso vocês perderem essa conversa aqui no YouTube, elas ficam aqui para a posteridade, mas se por um acaso vocês preferem ouvir correndo, malhando, esses outros aplicativos são muito mais amigáveis para isso. E hoje, como eu falei, convidado especialíssimo, Avi Polak, ele que é o Chief Commercial Officer da IQONIQ, uma nova plataforma de fan engagement com várias funcionalidades, muito legal, uma proposta muito bacana, é uma empresa que está fazendo muito barulho em todo o mundo, e o Avi veio aqui para a gente conversar sobre a plataforma, sobre os planos da empresa, papel da tecnologia no futuro do esporte, enfim, vários assuntos. So, Avi, first of all, welcome to Enzima. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you very much, Philippe, for the warm introduction. I'm happy to be here.
Perfect. So I would like to start asking you to tell us a little bit about your career before IQONIQ, please.
Well, let's just say that I was a director at a fan engagement startup for several years. Before that, I was an executive at several global software and telecom high-tech companies. I was raising funds at my last position, and a third party introduced me to Mr. Kazim Attila, who is the CEO of IQONIQ. There was a point where we were in discussions with IQONIQ to join technologies, to join forces, but that didn't work out. Instead, Kazim invited us to join him at IQONIQ, and of course, I jumped at the opportunity.
Perfect. And please explain to those who don't know, what is IQONIQ and what do you do?
IQONIQ is basically a one-stop shop for sports and entertainment that connects rights holders, fans, and sponsors with the fans in the center stage. IQONIQ takes a very, very different approach, and we've created a more, what I would like to call a sustainable kind of like engagement. Fans are rewarded for every single engagement event on IQONIQ. I would say it's a more personal, rewarding, and purposeful experience with IQONIQ.
And how does the platform work? Is it like a social media where clubs, athletes, and fans, they create their own profiles and then they can interact with each other? How does the platform work?
So some may call us a social network. Others may see us as a loyalty platform. I say we're kind of like a bit of both, but much, much more. The platform is a solution that targets three different but common challenges. At our core is fan engagement, but fan engagement on its own is not enough. We developed a second layer for rewards and loyalty, effectively creating incentive-driven engagement. But did you know that between 95 to 98% of fans ever or will ever actually attend a live game? There are many reasons for this. Let's look at the most basic one, physics, right? Typical stadium, you could fit a maximum of 40,000, 50,000, or even 60,000 fans. So you could just imagine those clubs which have 1 million, 5 million, or even 10 million fans, let alone clubs like Flamengo, right? You simply cannot fit them in. We added a third layer to help clubs monetize those fans for whatever reason, ever or will ever actually attend a live game.
Perfect. Especially clubs, global clubs with global fan bases, right? When you talk about Barcelona or Real Madrid and all those European clubs, for example.
I can tell you that, going a bit off script here, that a lot of these global clubs, and we're seeing it today, a lot of them have focused on the revenue from ticketing, merchandise, and broadcast. And today with COVID, we're seeing all those revenue, all those, traditional revenue streams are being hit left and right. And now we're coming, and this is, I guess, what's making IQONIQ very attractive, is we're telling, and we've been telling these clubs, we're focusing on the other 95%. That's where we want to help you monetize your fans. And that's created a very, very big opportunity for the global clubs and also all those clubs that are slowly growing their international reach.
Perfect. So IQONIQ has multiple features, a lot of functionalities, a lot of things that people can do inside the platform. So I'll talk a little bit about some of them. So you have a store where you sell multiple products, tickets. How does the store works? Is it a one place centralized store, or each team or athlete can have its own store?
Okay, so basically, if you take a look, there's a trend today called the pop-up trend, right? You're seeing that with restaurants, you're seeing that with sports, entertainment, models. Everything is pop-up. Everything is very, for the moment, nothing, permanent, something temporary. IQONIQ is like the trendy pop-up shop culture found today around the world. In our vision, to create a one-stop shop, we needed to provide products and services that fans are interested in. With some clubs, we may purchase merchandise and tickets at deep discounts, while with others, we would work through some kind of affiliate marketing arrangement. In any case, the orders are initiated in the IQONIQ platform, and that way we can record that as an engagement event, and I can reward the fans for that engagement. And then that order is relayed to the club, where the club will actually get that order and fulfill it either by the club or by their partners.
Perfect. So another feature that I think it's really interesting is the gamification one. You already talked a little bit about it. You already talked a little bit about it. Users can, for example, predict the score and win prizes even if they are at the venue. How does that work? Is it something that must be operated by a league or a club, or does IQONIQ handle this?
Okay, so that's a great question, and I guess we could spend literally hours just on the subject of gamification. Let's take a step back and let's discuss the challenge to better understand this exciting feature on the IQONIQ platform. Okay, most rights holders do not have the tools to provide them a more granular view of their fans or the engagement of these fans. It's like driving on a highway and seeing a billboard, right? No one guarantees that the advertiser, someone will see that billboard, or that message made an impact on me, or if there's a return on investment. The only metric that's used today is that 150,000 cars are passing by that billboard, okay? With IQONIQ, if we look at our gamification feature, fans can engage with rights holders and sponsors via very, very simple 60-second challenges. The top 1 to 3 players will win, of course, prizes. What do you do with the other 150,000 fans? Simple. They all win loyalty points. So everyone actually wins something for that engagement. But what is really unique is that now the club has a digital record of 150,000 real activations. Finally, of course, our partners play a very big part in helping fans redeem their loyalty points, thereby creating that return on investment. So the partners will actually put in that first loyalty point, and at the end of that journey, redeem that loyalty point. So it's no longer a matter of how many fans attending or even watching a match, but rather how many actively engaged with your brand. And this is something which is really, really unique to the IQONIQ platform.
But a doubt that I have, when you talk about maybe a game, a predict the score game, this 60-second interaction with the fan that you mentioned. This is operated by the club or by the league. Do you provide just the white label platform and they can operate that, or is it something that they have to do it with you to put those that contest in the hands of their fans?
It's a great question. And I think this is one of the big, I guess you could say, another big benefit of IQONIQ. IQONIQ is a one-stop shop, and it's a full shop. So we're going to provide the club or the league all the tools for them to be able to create these 60-second challenges. And by the way, these 60-second challenges will be branded, or I would say co-branded with the club. So you would have the club's logo, you would have the sponsor or brand's logo deeply embedded into that challenge. So everyone will know that that challenge is sponsored by Coca-Cola, or that challenge is sponsored by McDonald's. But what's really nice is that the club doesn't have to look out from within their borders to bring in those challenges in. We provide the entire infrastructure for those clubs and leagues to actually launch their own 60-second challenges.
Great. And what about the data? We have a discussion today. We see a lot of clubs creating their own platforms and kind of not running away, but creating their own platforms to not give all their fans data to Twitter or Facebook or Instagram is Facebook too, but Google. What about the data within IQONIQ? Does the data belongs just to IQONIQ? Do you share all of that with the clubs, with your partners? How does that work?
That's another great question. I can tell you that one of the biggest challenges, and I'm less familiar with what's going on in South America, but I can tell you that from a European perspective, one of the biggest challenges facing a lot of the sports and entertainment entities was a regulation called GDPR.
Yeah.
Right? GDPR basically created it was a paradigm shift. All of a sudden, the fans had to always, confirm their membership as opposed to just unsubscribing and leaving. Now, there's that saying, very famous saying, give me lemons and I'll make lemonade, right? What we did is we took that GDPR and we turned that into a benefit. We turned that into a strength. We basically gamified the GDPR experience. So if a fan gives me their name, they get loyalty points. Fan gives me their phone number, they get loyalty points. And if the fan wants to leave, they can leave in any given moment. Their account will be shut down, their data will be deleted, but they will be warned beforehand that if you leave, you will lose your loyalty points. So as you can see, everything is very heavily incentive driven in our platform. And of course, any club that signs up with IQONIQ doesn't automatically get access to the fans' data. Everything is going through GDPR. So GDPR is deeply integrated within our platform. And I guess because GDPR is kind of like the standard, I think doing GDPR across the board also for South American fans and North American fans and Asian fans, it basically creates that standard where everyone has to allow their data. Everyone has to, be rewarded for that data. So to just answer your question, clubs don't automatically get the data. A fan first has to pick you as their club in order for that GDPR gateway to open up. And if the fan and that data cannot be downloaded onto the club's database because the GDPR agreement is between us and the fan. So if the fan decides they want to leave, they're given all the rights to leave, and they can delete their profile from the platform.
That is a very cool and clever approach to gamify that data. It's very, very cool. Congratulations for it. So do you plan to have exclusive content produced by IQONIQ's team on the platform, like articles, videos? Do you plan to have a team to produce that kind of content, or do you plan to partner with clubs and leagues and they will be the ones who will provide you those contents?
So the short answer, yes, and more. The amount of creativity, I must say, it's amazing. I've already met with over 200 different clubs in many different sports around the world. The amount of creativity that we are seeing from the clubs knows no bounds. Lots of clubs are actually dusting off their archives and are contributing some really, really interesting old as well as new content to the platform. We like to go further in iconic fashion than the usual exclusive content that almost everyone talks about. Everyone talks about exclusive content. We like talking about exciting content, okay? And that's the difference. You have exclusive content and you have exciting content. All posts that you see today on social media channels, on dedicated apps, can be identified as exclusive content, right? And they won't be posted on the other channels. We will actually work hard to create exciting content, either with the Iconic team or together with the club, or even on a league level, whereby most will also have engagement features for the fans. So there'll be very, very interesting content, but with an engagement angle to that content. Almost every club that we've been in touch with understands the partnership with Iconic, and they understand that the more we both invest in this partnership, the better the experience is for the fans.
Perfect. And one of the exciting content that you mentioned probably is the VR AR broadcasting. Are you planning to buy some rights around the world, or is it part of the deals that you close with leagues and clubs? Can we expect to have Iconic as one of those companies that are bidding for exclusive live content, live rights?
Let's just say I can't divulge too much about it, but it's something that's extremely exciting for Iconic. We're working together with some really big partners and rights holders to create a new product called the Virtual Season Pass. Okay, we'll be installing at several arenas a unique camera system that provides basically a view from the best seat in the house. Okay, you put on the goggles, you put on your VR goggles wherever you are. You could be on the beach, you could be sitting in your home in Tokyo, in New York, whatever it is. And even with some cheaper VR goggles you put on and you put in your smartphone in the front, the view that you get is as if you're sitting in the middle of the stadium. So your head becomes the camera. So you turn right, you turn left, it's as if you're actually sitting within the stadium. Similar, and of course, the same way that you're sitting in the stadium, your head actually follows the ball, either on the pitch or the court. You could be, once again, at the comfort of your home in Tokyo, in Moscow, or even in Rio, but feel like you're at the stadium. The Virtual Season Pass is literally taking the best seat in the house and selling it 50,000 times over. Imagine being able to choose the view depending upon the angle of the camera, or gamifying your viewing experience with a layer of augmented reality on top of that viewing experience. I can't get into more details. We're very excited about it, and we're dealing with some really, really big partners. I would say probably the biggest partner in content around the world. And we've already, we'll be installing cameras in about 16 arenas next year to begin this project.
That's really cool, really cool. VR and AR for me are two of the most exciting technology that we have, and especially in sports. So looking forward to know more about it soon. So what is the business model of the company, Avi?
Very simple. It's a profit share partnership. Okay. Most clubs, when I first reach out to a club, they look at us as a sponsor, and very, very quickly they understand that we're not a sponsor. We don't want to be a sponsor. We're not interested in being a sponsor. We're interested in being a partner in the truest sense of partnership with the club. We contribute the technology and, of course, the know-how. The clubs provide, prizes for the fans. They provide awareness for the fans. Any revenue generated from the club's presence on Iconic, the profit is split between the two partners.
Perfect, perfect. And you already have multiple important partners. Could you name a few of them, please?
Wow. Today we've signed up over 150 clubs, and we have about another 100 or so clubs in various stages of negotiation. We have, of course, Olympic Marseille, Real Sociedad, Crystal Palace, FC Zenit, AS Monaco, NC Courage. We have McLaren Racing. We just announced Williams Racing, and of course, we have some really big deals with the league on the league level, like of course La Liga, EuroLeague basketball, the European Handball Federation, and of course the Drone Champions League. So we have our hands full with quite a few partners that we're onboarding onto the IQONIQ platform.
A lot of important partners, as I mentioned. So that's really cool. And what are your plans for Latin America, specifically Brazil? Do you already have partners here? Is it a region that you are looking into?
So I was given kind of like a secret mission internally to start putting out some feeders in South America. We have presence through our partners. We have presence in Mexico City, Sao Paulo, and Rio de Janeiro. And we are planning to announce some interesting regional partners in the coming weeks from around 7 countries in Latin and South America. So it's something that's definitely very interesting for us. And it's something, now that Europe has begun the sports season, it's giving us now some time to get ready for the sports season that I believe is starting in the beginning of next year, but no one's really sure because of what's happening out there. But that's what the focus is on now, beginning of 2021, to start announcing all these really, really great partnerships in Latin and South America.
Perfect. And is Brazil one of those 7 countries that you mentioned? Can you?
Definitely.
Oh, that's
Definitely.
great.
And I'm in touch personally with some of the biggest clubs in first and second league of Brazil.
Perfect. That's great to know. Great to know. So, in July, IQONIQ announced a robust investment of 100 million euros. What is the importance of being capitalized for a startup in a moment of expansion? As you mentioned, you worked with a lot of startups. What is the importance of having that kind of robust investment?
Wow. Let's just say that access to capital of this size enables us as IQONIQ to really focus on what is important, growing the business, and less on what other startups are focusing on, which is fundraising. So this is giving us a really, really, I would say, strong competitive edge. I hope that this investment is actually the first of many investments leading eventually to our goal of an IPO.
That's great. That's great to know. So we have seen multiple surveys lately showing that especially the younger generations are watching less and less traditional sports. What is the role that a platform like IQONIQ has in order to make the younger ones engage more with traditional sports?
Wow, that's a great question. The data today shows that the millennials, they still like to watch sports, but they like to watch sports much differently than what you and I are used to. Today, it's all about the highlights and when to watch the highlights. So everything has to be on demand. So if you're looking at it, sports has to start now working, and sports is part of the entertainment industry. Sports has to start pivoting in a way where they're grabbing the new generation by offering these highlights and by offering, on-demand access to these highlights. Separate of this, just look at social media. The youth today, they love to engage. There's no doubt in anyone's mind. And that's exactly where IQONIQ focuses on. By partnering with both traditional broadcasters and with, of course, new OTT players, this helps contribute to IQONIQ's philosophy of engagement. So we're definitely working on that, and we're definitely creating these partnerships to engage not only the traditional fans, but to bring on board the younger generation of fans as well.
Great, great. So, Avi, I have a broader question now. What is, in your opinion, the role that technology has in the future of the sports industry?
Wow. To be honest, we've been preaching to the masses, and I've been preaching to the masses about fan engagement for years. Most clubs depend, and this is what we talked about before the interview, most clubs depend heavily on ticketing and merchandise revenue. With COVID-19, even traditional broadcast revenue is changing. Think of the period now as kind of like the quiet before the storm. Now is the time for clubs to think about digital transformation. Those clubs that prefer not to invest in technology now will only find themselves far behind when things get back to normal. And this is something that you'll see everywhere I go. Now is the time for digital transformation. Now is the time, because things will get back to normal, but things will change. It will never be the same, but things will get back to normal. People will start going back to games. People will start buying merchandise. People will, start watching the games, but things will change. Fans will demand a lot more for their intention.
So, Avi, we are approaching the end now. So last question. I want to know, what is IQONIQ's vision for the next 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years if everything goes according to plan? I know that you are a new startup, and in today's world, talk about a vision of 5 years, it's very hard. But what is the vision of the company?
If I can summarize it in one sentence, we want to be in the top 3 all-in-one solution for sports and entertainment. That's exactly where we see ourselves in 5 years, and this is where we're striving to. We want to be the standard for the all-in-one solution for sports and entertainment. And although we've had a lot of accomplishments and we've signed up 150 clubs, the road is still long to get there. But that's where our focus is, and that's where we want to get to in the next 5 years.
That is a great goal, a great vision. So, Avi, thank you so much for being here, for sharing all your knowledge with us. I'd like to give you space to send our audience a message now.
Yes. So basically, we're going through a very, very challenging period right now. And all I can say is that, although I don't like to say that we've taken advantage of coronavirus, but coronavirus has definitely given us a lot of advantages. And what we're saying is we're looking forward to the day when we can all think about this, maybe even laugh about it, and hopefully get those fans back into the stadiums and hearing those fans roar and hearing that, that real, I would say, engagement back to the way it should be. So that's what we're looking for. And I'm wishing everybody just health and happiness. And hopefully we will all finish this earlier than later.
Great, Avi. Thank you so much. Thanks again. I will speak a little bit of Portuguese now, ok? Pessoal, então esse foi o Avi Polak da IQONIQ. Como vocês viram, uma plataforma muito legal, uma plataforma nova de engajamento de fãs, com uma proposta bem diferente. Eu recomendo que vocês entrem no site deles, baixem o aplicativo. É bem interessante a proposta que eles estão fazendo, como o próprio Avi falou. Eles já têm mais de 100 clubes e ligas que eles já assinaram contrato de parceria, algumas ligas muito grandes, como a La Liga, por exemplo, como a Euroliga de basquete, clubes importantes como o Olympique de Marseille, como o Valência, enfim. Eu acho que é uma empresa que a gente deve ficar muito de olho aí, porque com certeza é uma empresa que está trazendo algo diferente aqui para a indústria esportiva e está fazendo muito barulho, especialmente na Europa. O Avi falou que em breve eles vão estar aqui na região da América do Sul, inclusive no Brasil, vamos aguardar por isso, mas vale a pena já ficar de olho na empresa desde já. Antes de eu me despedir, só lembrar a vocês que toda terça e toda quinta às 16 horas, aqui no canal da Pluri, a gente tem o Enzima Live Show, onde a gente recebe profissionais relevantes das indústrias do esporte e do entretenimento, como o Avi, para conversar conosco sobre inovação, tecnologia, mundo digital, startups, esportes eletrônicos. E depois essas conversas viram podcasts e vocês podem ouvir nas principais plataformas de podcasts, como o Spotify, o Deezer e o Google Podcasts. Muito obrigado pela audiência de vocês e até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.